Javier, welcome back to the show. Not your first time, but
No, not my first, not my last.
do you
It
feel like
may be my best.
do you feel like this is punishment somehow every time you have to come on my podcast?
Sometimes,
Sometimes
sometimes, yeah,
when I don't let you talk.
sometimes. Well, when I can't hear you,
Can you hear me now or no?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Little Tony.
All right. All right. So first of all, coronavirus. Haven't you had like two vaccines and then you just got coronavirus again? Or no, you got it for the first time, but you had two vaccines.
Yeah,
So how is that? Because I'm still battling. People was wondering where I've been for a while. It's because I look like Frankenstein with these freaking lymph nodes hanging off the side of my jaw. So I've been taking all kinds of medicine trying to get rid of those, and that's thanks to the Johnson and Johnson vaccine. The very next day, I started getting, like, I literally had maybe 15 swollen lymph nodes. Did you know you had 15 or more swollen lymph nodes, or sorry, lymph nodes around your throat?
no,
Oh yeah, you got a bunch of them,
no,
and they were all swollen.
yeah.
And they did all the blood work and everything. Thank God was perfect. So like I wouldn't have probably gotten so much blood work and so many tests. But yeah, I'm still faced with that. So I'm vaccinated and I haven't had coronavirus and I'm suffering. So I can imagine you. You just got coronavirus. What was that like, considering that you've had two vaccines?
It was nothing for me. It was just a
Nothing.
headache. Yeah, it was like the only thing was quarantine, But I've been taking my vitamins, vitamin D, vitamin C, turmeric, Imuplex,
Yeah.
B12, zinc, because I heard all those are good to take. So I was taking those religiously. And of course, then I had two shots. Like I said, one in Abu Dhabi with the Chinese version back in November when supposedly they didn't have the shots, but I took it back in November in Abu Dhabi.
Remember that?
And then in June, my doctor in San Jose checked my levels, and he said that my levels are low. I better take another shot. So I did the Moderna, that's two-shot process. So I figured I was good, but apparently I wasn't.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably a different strain. They said there was the Delta strain and another one that was going around. But I think, and this is me thinking, me not knowing because I'm not a doctor. I think because I had the shot and because I've been on my vitamins, that it didn't hit me that hard because of that. Now I could be wrong, and maybe it was just my vitamins, or maybe it was the shot. I don't know. All I know is that I didn't get it bad at
Right.
all. Period.
Well, your body's been fighting this, like the anti, I guess, corona for so long. It's probably like, once it got the actual coronavirus, it probably was like a little bit more immune to it, even though you did get positive result.
Yeah, I tested positive and I had the corona. And then once the headache went away, I retested and I tested positive still. So it took a while. So from what I've been hearing, you're going to go even months after, you can test positive, and on different tests, you can test positive, negative, positive, negative. So, it's going to be a fun ride to see what's going to happen. All of a sudden, I'm supposed to leave to Moscow next week, and I'm supposed to take the test. I'm kind of curious to see if I'm going to do a positive or a negative, and then when I come back from Moscow to Dubai again,
Take
it's the
another
same
one.
thing going to happen to me
Yeah.
again. And then what about when I go home? Am I going to be positive or negative? I don't know, man. I don't like that type of scenario because I'm healthy. There's nothing wrong with me, but I could test positive, even though I'm fine.
I mean, there's multiple problems here. First of all, when you're traveling, the biggest problem is if you test positive, you're stuck. So like, you have your scheduling, your travels, and then you're going to be in this place and that place and this place and that place. If you test positive, you might be stuck for 2 weeks wherever you are. And that's a big problem
Yeah,
because you might not want to be in Moscow for two
yeah,
extra weeks or be stuck somewhere else. And then now also with the fighters, you're training the fighters, there's an issue there too. You don't want to test positive and then have to not train them for a while. So it's kind of a crappy thing to be in.
Well, the thing is, I can be around the fighters because I'm not contagious. Yeah, but
I mean,
they
if you
say
test
you can test
positive.
positive even though you're not. You're not.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not contagious at all. It's just that I could test positive. because
Gotcha.
I've had it before. I've had so many people that have had it say they kept testing positive, even though they had no symptoms and they couldn't give it to anybody or anything. So
Yeah.
it could happen to me too. I'm just kind of saying that because it might happen to me, but I hope not. Like our jiu-jitsu head coach, Ron Kessler, he didn't want to come to Dubai because he's had Corona. And he goes, man, what if I get over there, then all of a sudden I test positive and I can't come home
Yeah.
for 2 weeks.
Right.
I go, yeah. So he's not coming. He's not coming for these week's fights, because of that very reason.
Yeah, but Dubai's amazing. What better place? what better place to be stuck for 2 weeks?
Yeah, that's true. But when you have a family, and you got responsibilities, that's a whole different ballgame.
Well, at least you're healthy. At least things are good. So that's obviously a step in the right direction. Sounds like it's just a test result. It's not like you're getting actual sick or anything. So let me make sure this is correct because I want to. I've been out of the loop a little bit because of all this other shit that's going on. But so we have Islam, obviously. We have Zuba. And we have Tagir, right? Am I missing anyone, or is those the three guys we have coming up here at 267?
No, that's the only three guys we have. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I didn't want to make sure I missed anyone. And how's camp going with everybody? How's everybody looking? How's everything going? How's Islam? Of course, the number one, our number one asked about podcast request. How's he doing?
He's doing great. He's looking good. He's in shape. His mental's great. He's just so well-rounded, this guy, It's like so easy to train him because he's easy. He's easy to train. He's just low-key, low-key guy. But, to me, he's the heir to that lightweight title, just like Khabib was. He's the same. It's just a matter of when he gets the title, when he'll win the title, not if he's going to win. No, he will win it. He just has to get there.
Yeah, no. And then how's camp going for him as far as compared to previous camps and what are we expected to see here on was it October 30th?
The last time he had camp was when he fought in Vegas against Thiago Moses, and camps right on course, just like the last one, smooth. Last one was in Vegas. This one's here. It was part Dagestan, part here. He's on track. He has more coaching as far as coaches available to him. We have this new coach called Safe, and he's former, Taekwondo world champion, bronze medalist in, I think 2008 Olympics or something like that.
Okay. And
he's a hell of a coach, and he's helping him with Taekwondo and drills, stretching drills, and the whole bit. Then he has me and Khabib, and then we have another coach called Muhammad, who's like the head coach at Eagles MMA over there. The head coach really is Khabib, but there's a whole bunch of coaching now that's going on in Dagestan, with Khabib's gym. He's got a hell of a program over there.
So Khabib is with you now in Dubai. I see that. So he's helping coach the team there. What's the big difference between the camps in Dubai? I'm sorry, the camps in Dagestan versus the camps in Dubai. Like, is there a huge difference?
Well, since I never really did a full camp in Dagestan because I got the COVID, I was mostly there 3-4 days and I got it. So there wasn't really any camp there. So I can tell you this is more concentrated on these guys over there. It was more concentrated on the whole team. There were so many guys, 60-something guys, professionals, all badasses.
Yeah.
So here it's more like a smaller group, 20 of us, and it's more concentrated on Zuba, Islam, Tagir, and there's a few other ones that are fighting, Imar Shafi and Amaru, who's fighting, and also Hadi Omar, who is also from Dubai, who's fighting in the UAE Warriors event over here. So we're focused on those guys.
Yeah, and then so for those listening, I can't believe we're even on Skype right now because I didn't even think about it, but you're in Dubai, which is my second home, and Dubai bans all video platforms. So I'm surprised we're even actually having this podcast on Skype because Skype's supposed to be banned. Telegram, Botem is the main version. So the audio is great. So for those of you guys tuning in, if the video kind of like lingers or I guess pauses for a second, just bear with us, guys. The audio should be good. We should have good audio. But yeah, I wonder why Skype's even working. I didn't even think about that until right now. But usually it doesn't work, it seems like.
That probably explains why you kind of, you know, it sounds like
they block everything.
echoing.
Yeah, they block everything. So what do we expect to see with Dan Hooker? I mean, he poses a lot of threats in different areas. He's well-rounded. What do you see as, I guess, strategically what you're working on without giving anything away? And then how do you see the fight going from your standpoint?
Well, I mean, Islam's so good. Islam can stand with him and do well there, and if potentially not even beating him, you know, he could potentially do that. But what's the point? You know, he can't hang with us on the ground.
Yeah.
So why are we going to do something he can't do?
Right.
You know, why are we going to do something he can do? He could stand with us. He can potentially beat us. Why are we going to stand? There's no secret what we're going to do, and there's no secret what they're going to do. Why would they want to take us down to see how to prove their ground? Go ahead. Even if you did take them down, what's going to happen is you're going to get reversed right away, and it just doesn't work. So, you know, he's going to try to stop the takedown, try to catch us coming in with maybe a hook, knee up the middle, or you know, or anything. I mean, the guy's a warrior. He's a true warrior, and he's a true fighter. And taking the fight on short notice, the guy talks what he does. He says, "I'll fight anybody," blah blah blah. And look, he's doing it.
Yeah.
So hats to him. How can you not respect him? You know, he's not shying away. And there was a point there when he was maybe his camp was, or not his camp, maybe his management was avoiding the fight because it didn't make sense. Now it makes sense because Islam is higher ranked than him. So now it's I was chasing you. Now you're chasing me. You know, and that's the way, you know, a lot of these fighters are. You know, it's like none of these fighters, in my opinion, are afraid of each other. It's just that the management or the fighters themselves feel, well, that's not the good fight for me to get to the title. Everybody wants the title. We know that. Everybody wants the title. So whatever is going to get them closer to getting that title, that's what they're going to do. And if they're not ready for that individual, they're not afraid. They're just not ready.
Yeah.
And Dan Hooker, from what I hear, like, and he's actually done it. I'll fight anybody, anytime, and he's doing it. And he's taking the most dangerous touted guy that's out there right now, which is Islam. Everybody's talking about Islam going to be the champ, and look, he stepped up to the plate, no problem. So the man says something and he does it. Got to respect that.
And it makes for a dangerous element to the fight as well, because I think one thing that concerns me on the fight, if there's anything that concerns me, obviously I feel like Islam's better in every area, but I think what can concern me is the fact that Dan Hooker has nothing to lose. And when you have a fighter who has nothing to lose, and I mean, he has something to lose, don't get me wrong, but I'm saying when you're fighting Islam, you're not going to, it's not like if you lose, especially you can actually lose and improve, you know, your credibility as a fighter if you fight a tough fight and go really hard and maybe even have a couple close, you know, chances to win or whatever. So I feel like he's in a position to cause problems where some other fighters that might be higher ranked might play it safer and not take the risk that I think Hooker might take, because he, again, doesn't really have, you know, if everyone's just saying he's going to lose, he's expected to lose. So that's kind of a weapon he's using, I think, probably on his side. What do you think?
I agree. I don't think he's going to be cautious. I think he's going for it, and I don't think he's afraid to go to the ground. I think he feels if he goes to the ground, he's going to get back up and then do his damage again, like he's planning on. I don't think he's thinking he's going to keep his stand up. I think he's going to think he's going to go down, he's going to go up, he's going to go down, he's going to go up, because he's not the hardest guy to take down. You know, he's got a decent takedown defense. He doesn't have a great takedown defense. So I believe he believes that what do I got to lose? Just go out there and go to win. And I believe that's what he's going to do. I don't think he's going to shy away from anything. I agree with you. He's coming.
Has anything changed with Islam as far as, I mean, you know, you've seen more champions, I think, be made than anybody. I mean, you've built more champions and seen more superstars and even stars like your boy here who was never a champion, but quite the podcaster and gym builder over here. But my point is, have you noticed a difference in Islam? Has he changed any as far as, I mean, I'm not trying to find something negative here, but maybe positive as well. Has he changed any in this growth of following in Khabib's footsteps, and then Khabib retiring, and then him having all the pressure on himself, him being a superstar? Has anything changed?
Yeah, he's changed in abilities, but not as a person. Still the same guy.
Right. So he hasn't let it got to his head or anything? And
no, not at all. Not at all. Still same, approachable, super nice guy. Doesn't think he's a star. Just a great guy. It's the only thing about him that I notice is he's not big on interviews. Yeah,
I've noticed that too.
Big on interviews. That's it. That's he'll do them when he has to do them, but he's just a shy guy. I don't think he feels comfortable with the fact that he can't speak English as well as he'd like. When he does Russian interviews, he's more comfortable because it can convey what he wants to say. When he does English ones, it's a little hard for him because he can't convey the same. It doesn't feel comfortable because there's words he can't put together that he wants to put together. So he's not as comfortable doing them. So his English needs to improve, and his knowledge of the questions being asked to reply in English is hard for him. So he likes answering correct questions, and it's a little difficult for him. He's told me that on numerous occasions that Coach, I have a problem with that. And he wants to come across well-spoken,
right.
And I understand that at times it doesn't. It's like me, right? People want me to do Spanish interviews. Do you know how many I ignore? Wow. English interviews, oh yeah, no problem. Spanish interviews, I'll be honest with you, I've only done a few in my whole life because I just don't feel comfortable.
Right.
Because I just, I'm Mexican and I can't even speak Spanish that well.
Well, now because you're telling everybody, but before that, they thought you were completely like singing salsa, and I don't guess you sing salsa. You dance salsa. You eat salsa. Anyway, so I understand that, and I want to say for the record that I did have probably one of the very few, if not only, podcasts with Islam set up, ready to go from you. You set it up. You made it happen, or was going to make it happen, and his freaking fight with RDA fell through, and it was like literally a day before we did the podcast. So we were very, very close. So hats off for that. Thank you. Appreciate it. And we'll get him eventually. And I totally understand. You got your career, and when you're a top celebrity, especially going up the ranks like he is, you don't want to get taken out of context. And the media is just waiting to take you out of context. And they're just waiting for you to slip up and say something. And it's very easy, I think, with a language barrier to say something you might not mean, come across a little too arrogant, come across a little insecure, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's a headline. And then so I totally get it. I get it.
Yeah. I mean, he's the greatest guy. He really is. But he just, like I said, he likes being comfortable, and he doesn't like conveying things when he has to think about what he has to say.
Right.
He may say the wrong thing. Whereas Khabib's the greatest at giving you, slogans that everybody still to this day uses. Send me location. Bullshit guy, I mean, there's so much that, I don't know one other MMA fighter that has more taglines than Khabib.
Yeah, he has a book.
So he's fantastic in that department. Well, not everybody's Khabib. Islam is Islam, and the only one I remember Islam saying that it was kind of cool. You can run, but you can't hide.
Yeah.
But that's not a new one. That's old.
But it's true when you're fighting in the UFC, because you know what? At the end of the day, there's only one champion, and if he's headed toward the championship, so it's like you can run, but you can't hide. You're either not going to be a champion and fight him and lose, or win and beat him and become a champion, or you're just not going to be in the mix at all. That's it. So he's right about that.
Yeah.
And then let me ask you about Khabib. So Khabib is training and coaching and everything. I asked you this before. How's he doing as far as a coach, and how good is he progressing as a coach? Obviously, he can't be a perfect coach in the beginning, but he had a lot of natural talent. How is he going as this is multiple camps in now? And he was undefeated as a coach.
Well, he has been coaching even when he was fighting. When he was with us back in San Jose, and he's fighting. After he's done his sparring, he'd come in and stick around and help Islam or the other Mabedov or Abu Bakr or Umar, or Tagir. He's giving them advice or other guys. So he's been coaching for a long time. Now he just doesn't spar anymore. He still grapples with the guy and dominates everybody like always. But actually he lets them dominate him because lets them put him in bad positions. Whereas before, never.
Yeah.
That would never happen. But now he's, because they need to learn, he smashes them or he lets them smash him a little bit. But that's just to work. But as far as what he's done, he's another level. I can say something to the guys and they'll listen. But if he says something else, they're going to go his route. So I may be his coach, but the real coach for the Dagestani guys is really him. Yeah. Above any other coach, even of the other coaches that are really, really good, he's the head coach. I mean, he'll listen to me, But realistically, the guys are all going to listen to him because he's been there for them, and he hooks them all up. He gets those guys all money sponsorships. He cares so much about his whole team that he goes way and above what anybody has ever done to make sure they're all taken care of. So if you think about that, right, here you got a guy that's not only teaching you, guiding you, but he's also supporting you. Who are you going to listen to? The one coach that's just coaching you, or the guy that's coaching you and providing an income for you, and everything. I mean, he's moral support, physical support, financial support.
Yeah.
He does it all for these guys. That's an incredible guy.
Is he understanding that now, because he's taken on coaching full time, that he is giving up his entire life because of coaching? Because it's hard to have 5 or 6 guys fighting on the same card like this every single fight, and so it's like you're just training one guy to another. It seems like for you trying to come to Thailand, how long did that take? I mean, it took like once every 3 years or something to get you here because you had so many guys. Is he learning?
Yeah.
Is he learning and adapting to the fact that he's pretty much giving away his entire life to coach these guys?
Well, no, what he does is everybody's taken care of. He's got so many coaches that everybody has their certain responsibilities. Like me, I'm the main one for him. So I got the main guys. So that's why I'm with Islam, Zubaira, and Tagir. And then, there's other coaches that are taking care of, like Usman, right? Usman, his cousin, is fighting and Haji. Right. They're fighting in Bellator next week. Yep. So he has other coaches that are really competent taking care of them. But I have the most experience. So he wants the most experience with the top guys. So that's why I'm here. And then he's going back and forth. And at the same time, too, he's an incredible businessman. Khabib's got many businesses where he takes care of many people and opening up new businesses all the time. I don't even know how many businesses he's got. He's got water, he's got a vitamin, got FitRo. The list goes on and on. The last time he was telling me, Coach, you look up here. I got shops. I go, what? And I'm looking, and there's hills, right? And I go, where's the shops? He goes, yeah, look, all my shops. And I'm like, I'm looking, and it's sheep.
Oh, sheep.
Sheep. He's got thousands of sheep. He goes, yeah, I got thousands of shops. And I go, oh, you mean sheep? He goes, yes, sheep.
Sheep.
So there's still a language barrier there is what I'm trying to say.
Even Khabib's looking on it.
He still doesn't explain certain things properly. And he's saying, shops. And I go, look at all my shops. And I'm looking at this hill, and I'm going, what? You're building shops on this hill? Heck, and I say, all I see is sheep. He goes, yeah, sheep.
That's crazy. He's got a lot of sheep. And then what about your final prediction for his fight coming up here with Dan Hooker? How do you see it going? Same as always, just he's going to drag him into deep water and drown him, or anything different?
Yeah, I don't see how it stays stand up for very long at all. I think it goes down when Islam wants to take him down. I don't see Dan being able to. I mean, he's such a master at takedowns, throws and everything. I mean, if he doesn't take you in the wrestling move, he's going to trip you, he's going to flip you. I mean, going to up sweep you. I mean, there's so many ways Islam could take you down that Dan's got to. Obviously, he's a really good fighter, so he has opportunities where he can catch Islam. But I'm just going to say this. Dan has to knock Islam out to win. Islam doesn't have to knock Dan out or submit Dan to win.
Yeah.
But Dan's going to have to do that to Islam to win. He's not going to outstrike Islam. He's not going to out-grapple Islam. But he could knock Islam out. That could happen.
Yeah, it could always
happen.
Anybody
can do that.
All right, fellas, you want to help support the podcast? I know you do. All this content, all these interviews with these fantastic guests that we're putting out for you, well, now you can. And you can save 20% off and get free shipping by getting the best below-the-waist men's grooming products on the market. I'm talking about Manscaped. All you got to do is go to manscaped.com, manscaped.com, enter code QUICK at checkout, 20% off, and free shipping. Quick is my nickname. It is not how you use the product. Don't be silly, fellas. Come on. But Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels, and now they have the new Lawnmower 4.0, which is next level, the best trimmer on the market ever made. What makes it different? It has skin-safe replacement ceramic blades, controllable LED lights, wireless charging dock, and a 7,000 RPM motor with quiet stroke technology, and it's even waterproof. They also have a full line of hygiene and grooming products like the Shears 2.0 Luxury Nail Kit, Crop Mops, Preserver, Reviver, and a lot more. Manscaped has everything you need to appeal to your lady friend, but don't thank me. Thank yourself by going to manscaped.com, entering code QUICK, get 20% off, get free shipping. It's a win-win for you. It's a win-win for us, and you're supporting the podcast. What do you think about Zuba? Zuba's fighting Ricardo. How's that playing out, you think?
Well, Khabib and I have been working on Zuba for a while. His mind, making him stronger, making him become an MMA fighter. And I've been strictly this is the first time I've actually been on Zuba. I never really worked him like the way I've been working him. I've been working him a lot. And the mental, more importantly, the mental. I've been doing the physical with him recently, but I'm more mental on him on this time around. And I got him dialed in right. On a barring injuries, this kid's ready to go. And I predict that within 4 or 5 fights, if everything goes according to what I want, he's going to be fighting for a title. And don't be surprised if he wins it.
Yeah. Wow. And then what about Tagir?
Tagir's a workhorse. He's a workhorse. He does everything right. He listens. You ask him to do something, he does it. He's a workhorse, man. And this kid is in the same scenario. You know, he's only got 1 loss. And I think, 14, 15 fights. And he's just going to keep rolling, man. He's going to keep rolling. His opponent, we don't know much about his opponent. But whatever it is, he can handle it. His boxing's coming around really well. His ground's good. His conditioning's good. He's healthy. I mean, yeah, Tahir's just he's one of the guys that's a sleeper, you know. No one really is talking much about him. But 4 or 5 fights from now, they'll be talking about him in a title shot. I guarantee it. He's that good, actually.
How is it going to be? So it's in the Etihad Arena this time, right? So there's going to be the first time in Dubai in a long time, or the UAE, where it's I mean, they had a small audience in the Yas Island, right, before, but they've never had like a stadium like Etihad before. So how many people is that, and how's that going to affect our guys?
Well, I was told that for the last fight they had a few thousand or something like that, and it was really super loud. And then this one here, I heard they I just did an interview with a journalist, and he said that they're opening up to 8,000 now.
Wow.
So I don't know. I mean, this is for me, it'll be the first time I've been in this arena. The last time when Khabib fought Dustin, if I'm not mistaken, it was at a makeshift arena that they made. It wasn't that arena. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was that arena, right?
I don't know the Etihad Arena, to be honest. I don't know. I don't think it was. I think when Khabib fought, big arena.
They were building something, and I think they just made a makeshift one.
Yeah.
And because I don't think it was because we were outside in tents and everything.
I remember when I believe it was Damian Maia versus Anderson Silva. I think one of the Brazilian guys, and I was in Abu Dhabi for that fight, and they built an entire stadium or arena, I guess, on the Ferrari Island. I guess it's probably the same thing as Yas Island. I don't know. And they built the whole thing, and I covered the whole thing for the UFC, and it was they built this whole entire complex and then tore it down for the fight.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, I think that's what happened with the first one with Dustin and Khabib.
Yeah. That's probably what happened. So what about the main event? Obviously, it's a big main event. You got Yan, who was on my show, and then Teixeira. That's a big fight. What do you think about that?
I think Yan is just too complete.
He's getting better and better, huh?
Yeah, and you know what? He's making everybody more a believer in him and his abilities, and the fact that he deserves to be called champ. And he actually, I'm one of them too. That he made a believer out of me. So he's the champ for a reason because he's the best. And he proved it. So and I was sleeping on him, to be honest with you.
Yeah, everyone was, including Luke. When Luke first fought him, Luke was on my show.
He deserves everything that comes his way. He's earned it, and he's a great guy. He's always been a great guy, but not only that. From my perspective, he has my full support as being the true light heavyweight champion now.
Yeah, I think a lot of us didn't know in the beginning. Like when Luke was on the show, we didn't know a lot about him, and we had to slowly learn. It's kind of like Anderson Silva. I'm not comparing him to Anderson, but I'm just saying when Anderson first came on the scene, it was the same situation where he had some wins and some hype and all that, but like we never knew what was to come, and he just proved himself each and every single fight. And then pretty soon, that's how phenoms are made. Like when they get 17 in a row, you start believing.
It's like he was talking about a long time ago about John Jones coming back to the light heavyweight. and et cetera, et cetera. And my part of me was going, well, if John Jones came back down, I don't think your chances would be that great. But now after I watched him do what he did to Izzy and what he's done to everybody before that, now I'm like, okay, he's right. It wouldn't be so easy. So he's a legit champ, and I don't think it matters who would have been there when he fought for the title. He might have just won it anyways, and we'll never know. If Jones and him had squared down, what would have happened? I can definitely say this: it wouldn't have been a cakewalk for either one of them.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. What do you think about Petr Yan and Sandhagen? Do you think that's going to be a tough fight? I mean, obviously Sandhagen's doing really well, and then Petr Yan, the controversial issue with Sterling.
Yeah, I think the number one's fighting number two.
Yeah,
number one is Petr Yan. He's not the champion, but he's the best fighter in that division. So
next best.
Everybody that knows, and Aljamain is. I mean, who knows if he can even come back after what he's had done to him. I mean, he may never be able to come back, and he shouldn't rush it either.
Yeah.
His health is more important, and until he can come back or not come back, we won't know. But one thing's for sure, this is going to be for the interim title, and Petr Yan. So as far as, Sandhagen's concerned, this is for him the title, because he's actually fighting the guy that everybody considers number one. Yeah. I consider him number one. I'm sure you do too.
Yeah.
Everybody does. How can you not consider him number one? Is he the champion? No, because he did something that got him disqualified, and that's his fault. So he's not the true champion, but everybody regards him as the best, and I do regard him as the best.
I agree with you 100%. I think he made a stupid decision and had a bad fight, but I think he's proven that he is the best in that division right now, and Sterling's going to have a tough fight when he comes back. But in the meantime, obviously Sandhagen has done an outstanding job getting where he is, and he deserves the fight, and I think it's going to be an exciting fight for sure. Do you think Colby has a chance to come back and beat Usman, or do you think Usman is just on a level right now where he is the greatest welterweight, potentially of all time, but definitely as of now, and can't be beaten? Or do you think Colby, because I feel like Usman, even though he keeps winning, does show holes, and I do think Colby, for some reason, in my opinion, can beat him. I really honestly think Colby can be the champ and beat Usman, even though all signs point to Usman being unstoppable. Is that weird? Am I off on this, or?
Well, I mean, you're not off because Colby's that good, but
the pressure.
It's just your opinion, right? It's just your opinion. But from my angle, what I see, the champ, he's just, I don't know, man. He's just proven to be another level. He's proven to be another level, and what he did to Masvidal. I mean, how can you not be impressed with that? And before that, what he did to Burns, how can you not be impressed with that? He's at another level, bro, and I just see him getting better and better because his confidence is getting better. I mean, what a humble champion. Humble champion. That guy, he is through and through somebody you should respect and admire for how he handles himself, how he handles his family, how he handles himself in all aspects of being a champion.
Yeah.
How he represents his culture, his people, and how he represents MMA in general. I mean, that guy is a true professional. I have nothing but good things to say about him. He keeps improving, and he's humble for as great a fighter as he is. He's humble, man. He's very humble. If you know him, how can you not like him? Seriously.
And I think the thing is with Usman too, is a good ambassador to the sport, and he's what we need as a champion. I like Colby, and I like Colby as a fighter, and I think Colby has the potential to win, and he's a very tough fighter. But as a champion, what is he going to do for the sport? Because he is on a stick. It's like, how long does a stick really last? And this whole kind of thing that he has and what he does. When you look at a champion, you kind of want the Khabibs, you kind of want the Usmans, you kind of want the guys, unlike you're kind of what's happening with Jones right now and stuff, other people. But with Colby, it's like you're still going to have the stick even if he's the champion, and it'll be interesting, but it's not going to be the same ambassador-like qualities that Usman has.
Yeah, well, the thing is, it's like Colby, he's got his different appeal. Henry Cejudo has the cringe. Chael Sonnen had his pick, and now we got Colby with his, and they're all playing something else they really aren't, and out of all those, I like Chael's version the best. I think he handled it the best. He was the best at it. But out of all those three, the best fighter was obviously Henry Cejudo, because he proved he was the best.
Yeah.
But the twins, I'm just saying they all have their own off persona that's not who they really are. So Colby plays who he plays, but I don't know him, but I don't think he's really that person. I think he's just playing something he's not.
Yeah. Of course.
And most people don't like him for that, and I'm not judging him because I don't really know. I just see what he's doing. But I respect him as a fighter because he's a hell of a fighter. I just think that the champ's at another level than anybody. That's all.
Yeah. And then last breakdown, just real quick. I got to ask you all these breakdowns when I got you on the show. You got Justin Gaethje versus Michael Chandler. What do you see in that fight? Do you think Michael Chandler has what it takes to beat someone like Gaethje with those kind of strikes and coming from all different angles like that, and Chandler being, you kind of know what he's going to do. So I think Justin can if I was Justin, I feel like I could kind of predict kind of what he's going to do, which will help me land those big strikes. How do you think that fight's going to go?
Chandler's a hell of a fighter.
Yeah.
He's got good speed, good power, and Gaethje, I don't know. I think just Gaethje's got a little bit, he's got a bigger chin, and, he's fantastic at those low calf kicks. And I don't think Michael is as proficient with those calf kicks, just like I warned Khabib. He's coming after your legs. I don't think Michael's going to be able to stop him on those calf kicks. I really don't. Yeah. Even if you practice him, he's so damn good at him. So good at him that even Khabib really couldn't stop those calf kicks from coming in, you know. But he went through them because Khabib's just mentally tough, but I don't know. Justin Gaethje is he's going to be a handful for Michael, but anything can happen. Michael's got the power, he's got the speed, they both got good wrestling, but I think that the stronger chin is definitely Gaethje, stronger kicker is definitely Gaethje, and I think they match up well with as far as the power. I think they both have power in their strikes, but I think that Gaethje has more options to win.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% on that one. So what is your take on Fury versus Wilder? Did you see that fight and how absolutely crazy?
I just saw it yesterday, and I got to say it was probably the greatest heavyweight battle I've ever seen in my whole entire life.
What?
I love Wilder. He just he ain't giving up for nothing. You have to put him out, and Tyson Fury being knocked down twice like that and coming back the way he did, and I mean, look at the way he was energetic, popping, and a guy 6'9" against a guy 6'7". One looked like an Adonis, the other guy looked like like Doughboy,
Yeah.
He didn't look very, but man, could he box?
Yeah.
Man, could he box? And boy, did he have a heart. I mean, I love Tyson Fury's attitude. I loved his fighting style. I love how charismatic he is. He's an entertainer, man. He is an entertainer. And if you don't like him, then you really don't like boxing, because he represents everything boxing should be. And Wilder did too. Blood and guts, but Fury, he's the total package, man. The total package as far as, entertainment value, boxing wise, and but not bodybuilding wise. He's not going to win any bodybuilding competition anytime soon. I mean, 277 pounds. Are you kidding me? When's the last time we had someone 277 pounds move like that?
Yeah, never.
That tall.
Never.
Amazing.
Not with that kind of body or that kind of physique.
I think I know it was the greatest fight I've ever seen in the heavyweight division ever. Not might have been the most anticipated fight I've ever seen, but it was definitely the most exciting heavyweight title fight I've ever seen in my whole entire life. Yeah,
it's incredible, and the way he gets up, it's like Tyson get knocked down, and it's like he's a zombie.
Yeah,
it's like he comes up like with new energy. It's almost like he took a nap and then he's refreshed. he gets up and he's a different fighter.
He's singing at the end. The guy can sing. I mean, I wish I could sing. He's very entertaining, man.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? I am here in Thailand. This is the first time I've ever been here. Been dying to come here for years. Mike Swick, he's one of the big reasons he's been trying to pull me down here. What he built down here AKA Thailand is incredible. There's people here from all over the world. You can train mixed martial arts here, jiu-jitsu. They have weightlifting, they have cardio, and obviously they have Muay Thai, boxing, everything. I'm telling you guys, I know everybody wants to go to Thailand because Thailand's so cool, but you can't come to Thailand without coming to AKA Thailand. Come on.
And then what just I could ask you on this, just for your take on this, because DC's been vocal about it a lot too. But what's going on, in your opinion, with Jon Jones, and why do some of these guys, like, what is your opinion, since you've built so many superstars and you've had a lot of guys, you've had the opposite. You've had all the guys that were ambassadors and guys that were good for the sport and doing really well. What do you think is wrong with some of these guys, like your Conors and your Jones and I'll ask about another guy here in a second who's not near to that level. But what do you think about these guys that are getting to the top and they've been to the top and they're champions and they've done it all, and then they crumble like this, and then it's just one problem after another after another? Like, what's causing this? And do you think he can make a comeback and still have a career? Or do you think, because DC said now that he's breaking the ties and with his gym, he's breaking ties with certain people, this is kind of like a slow downward spiral where you start losing your friends, you start losing your burning bridges, you're doing these things, and now you have no support staff and you just kind of tumble down. Do you think he's tumbling down now and can't come back, or do you think he can pull through if he got the right people around him?
Oh, I think he can pull through it, but I just don't know why he is where he's at.
I mean, yeah, it is weird, right?
I mean, he has everything. And
yeah,
why,
I think so.
Why are you at where you're at? I mean, I don't really know what exactly happened, but I know that it involved his family, and I don't know, man. It's like, it's not unlike him, to be in this kind of trouble. He's been in this kind of trouble since I've, been following him. It's like, it's not like when it's not like, I mean, no, it's like, when is he going to get in trouble again? Not, oh my gosh, he's in trouble. It's like, it's no surprise to anybody. So what's going on with him? I don't know, because I don't know him. So can he come back? He's still young enough to do anything. So it just, he has to have a talk with them, with somebody that cares about him and somebody he respects that can reach him, or maybe he's had that talk already. Maybe he's on his way back. I don't know. I just know that no one is shocked at what's going on. No one.
What seems to me that's crazy is, like, you work your whole life to get to a point where you don't have to prove yourself to people, and, like, it seems like when you're coming up, you have a lot of insecurities because you don't know how good you are until you figure it out. Obviously, none of us do. And then you have a lot of people bashing you, and you have a lot of people saying you can't do this. There's more people saying you can't do stuff than there is saying you can do stuff. So I understand when you're coming up, you're trying to prove yourself and you're trying to show that you're the best. You're trying to show you're successful. You're trying to show that you're rich. You're trying to do these things. But what's weird to me, and I don't understand, and I wish I understood it more, is when you got guys, I guess Conor's a better example, but Jones as well, because Jones does make a lot of money. He's got some decent money. He's got some great success. Potentially one of the greatest of all time, and maybe in most people's opinions the greatest of all time. It seems like Conor especially is so starved for that gratitude and attention of being the best and being the richest and being you would think by now of obtaining what they've obtained. I mean, he's the number one on the Forbes list. You got Jon Jones, who's his whole family successful. Every single brother that he's got is a freaking number one athlete in their own different sports. It's so weird to me that they're trying so hard to signify, like the whole thing with Jon Jones and Khabib, how upset Jon Jones was that Khabib possibly was better than him or looked upon by anybody as being better than him, really bothered him. It's like they've already proven that they're Conor's one of the most successful, next to Khabib, at being successful in all aspects, money, fame, everything. And then Jon being successful in the realm of being a good fighter and beating the best fighters and making a lot of money. What's left to prove? Why are these guys making such huge mistakes, like punching guys in bars and doing just dumb stuff, to like drinking too much and doing crazy shit to prove themselves when they've already done it? It's statistically on paper. Like you've kind of done it already. What is there left to prove,
Well, I know this, when you're talking about coaches, Winkle John, Greg Jackson, incredible
Yep.
human beings, incredible coaches. So it has nothing to do with coaching and nothing to do with coaching. And they're not in charge of the man. The man's in charge of himself. So this is nothing to do on the coaches. The only the coaches have to do is decide to stick with the guy or separate from the guy. Kavanaugh, same way. He appears to me like a great guy, great individual. So it's the individual himself that's either a good guy or a bad guy, or can change what he wants to be like or how he wants to be like. But I don't really look at the coaches need to reach out to these guys, because we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. For all we know, those coaches have done their best to try to steer their guy right. But I've been in this situation where when the fighter's a champion, they're the champion, and it's almost like your comments or your advice is either taken or not taken. And in this particular case, I would think that the coach's advices were not taken. But that's for the fighter to decide. The coach can't make them take their advice or not take their advice. They can just advise.
Are you using the coaches on purpose? Do you know the new update as far as Jackson Winklejohn basically kicked him out of the gym?
Yeah, I saw that, and that is one of the reasons. That is one of the reasons why I bring it up, because Winklejohn is one hell of a human being, and one hell of a coach. He's one of the best coaches out there in the game, and he's a very truthful guy. Greg Jackson's a very good friend. Every time I call him, he always picks up the phone and answers whatever I want to ask. Same with him. He calls me, I pick up, but I call him more than he's ever called me. But regardless, he's a great guy. Both of them, both great individuals, both great coaches. And that's why I'm saying this, because, if people are judging, well, what's the coaches doing? Well, the coach is doing the right things. It's the fighter. Don't blame the coaches. It's the fighter, In this particular case, you're talking about two individuals that are different. And they're being coached by different people, but they can't be controlled by the coaches. Look, if Khabib decided to act any way he wanted to act, don't be looking at me as well, why didn't Javier control him? I can't control Khabib. He is who he is. I can advise him. I can give him my opinion, which I do. But he's going to, at the end of the day, he's going to do what he wants to do. Same with Kane, same with DC, same with Frank Shamrock, same with all the guys that I've had, Luke, all of them. They do what they're going to do. Kung Lee, Josh Thompson. I mean, they all have their own path. Now, it's your job as a coach to put them in the right path, but it's up to them to decide what path they want.
I was thinking like, do I blame the coaches when I was asking you, because you've built so many guys? I didn't mean it quite like that. I don't mean or the coaches at fault. I just mean considering you have so much experience watching, obviously taken away from the fact that you've coached these guys and made them successful, but you've watched so many guys become successful. I was just wondering your opinion on what makes someone spiral out of control, considering we've only had maybe a couple guys really spiral out of control, and for the most part they haven't. So like, what are we doing different than some of these other gyms, or maybe it's just the people around them? Or
on the fact that I did have a couple of them in on my case, when they've been mad at me, it's been a lack of attention to them.
All right.
Lack of attention. I got my beef with some of my guys because I ignored them. That was it. I didn't give them the attention I used to, and I did it on purpose, and the result was not favorable. So that was a lesson learned on my part, that don't ignore. And I'm good at ignoring people. I've done it for a long time.
Do you agree with me on this? Do you think that, because they always say it's once you get to the top, there's only one place to go but down. And do you agree with me that once you get to the top, and like Conor was the face of the sport, and he was double champ and all this kind of stuff, he was at the top of the top of the top of the top for a while there. Obviously, as far as especially star power, notoriety, he still is very much of a star. But as he starts losing credibility and losing fights and getting knocked out, and the fans turning against him, and then John Jones not fighting, being the champion, being the youngest champion, being such a dominant champion, and now all of a sudden it's like he's not fighting, and the fans are turning against him. Do you think it's just like they can't handle, once they get to that top and they're looked upon as the best, they have to stay that way? And is this something that you think everyone's going to, obviously Khabib is different, but do you think other people are going to face the same kind of problem? It's like you work so hard to get to the very top where you're the best in the world, and you're undoubtedly this, and this. Eventually you're going to have to fall off. you're going to have to get old. You're going to have to lose fights. You're going to have to not be, have some kind of incident. Do you think that's what it is? They're just unwinding because they don't like hearing that kind of publicity or that kind of, response, considering that they were at this highest level, and then now they're getting treated a little different, and they're kind of falling down this I guess staircase.
There could be something to what you're saying, because all the negativity that's come out of this is like when they speak, it's always when somebody's talked about them as a higher than them. Then they start talking about, how many times I defended, how many times I did this. And it's always they're not happy when someone talks about somebody else's accolades higher than theirs.
Right.
That's when they chime in. So you might have something there. I never really analyzed it or really thought much of it. But you could be very correct on that they can't handle the negativity, and therefore they lash out because they're used to being at the very top of the top. And then even though they may be still champions, but in people's eyes, they're not cream of the crop. So they lash out because the fans attack them. Yeah. And they care about their fans. They really do. And I know for a fact that I want negativity when I do a post, when I get negativity, and I rarely do, but when I do, man, it's like I've actually blocked a couple of people that've been negative, and I'm going, man. I didn't say it as I block. I go, you know what? I don't want to try to convince this person anything. He hates me. Block. So I can imagine if I got tons of hate all the time, how it might alter my feelings and how I respond to people. So yeah, you could be right. You're talked about here, and all of a sudden something happens and somebody talked above you, and you don't like it, and because they're talking bad about you, so yeah, it's possible, very possible, because I have noticed that when people talk bad about that person, you barely did this, you barely did that, and they regard someone pound for pound higher than you, or his accolades are higher than yours, even though you're still champ, it doesn't sit well with them. So then they go on a tirade where they start attacking, and as we've seen it, like you said, maybe there's something to that.
It's weird because I've done the whole thing before. I haven't had a lot of negativity either. I guess just I'm not that important for people to be that negative. They're usually pretty supportive, but I feel like I'm still on my way to success. I'm far from where I want to be, and so I'm building success as I'm going. So I've been in the position where you said you had blocked people before. And it's funny because when I block somebody for saying something completely stupid or something dumb, I always end up unblocking them because I'm if I block them, they're not going to be able to see what I'm going to do next and how successful I could possibly become. And I'm that's not going to accomplish anything. So I'll unblock them, and then just if they keep going on, I'll just keep deleting their shit because I'm I want them to see what's going to happen in 3 years from now or 4 years from now, because that motivates me for some reason, because I'm still working so hard to build success. I'm not at the top or working my way down yet.
Yeah, no, I block people. And I don't block too many. Don't get me wrong. It's I go months before blocking anybody.
Yeah, I can imagine you don't.
Hit a nerve. I just blocked somebody that I made some comments about Jake Paul, and I meant them about how good I thought he was, because I'm friends with his coaches. Yeah. And they show me video of Jake Paul, and they show me his improvements, and they're flipping me off, calling me a clown. Yeah. Calling him a clown. And I'm just man, this guy, okay, I like the Raiders. I like New Orleans. Yeah. Saints. Well, guess what? You're not going to convince this person to become a Raider fan. Right. It ain't going to happen. Right. So rather than do that, I'm going to block you, because I'm not going to say, well, no, I haven't. Why? It's if someone likes the Raiders, someone likes New Orleans Saints, I'm going to stay on the Raiders side, or I'm going to stay on the Saints side. I'm not going to discuss anything with the Raider guy, because I'm not going to get to him. And that's where I'm starting to realize that you just can't reach these people. So don't. Yeah. Don't. They're going to like who they're going to like and dislike who they're going to dislike, So, in the past I would do it, and I'd convert 95% of them, and they just starving for attention. They just want your attention. But when the guys are coming out flipping you off with fingers and calling you a clown, I don't think I want to respond to them. I think I'm just going to block you, because you know what? I got to try too hard, spend too much time trying to convince you that I'm not a bad guy. Let's just block your comments.
Yeah, and the thing is too, like for me, it's like I never would block somebody or be upset about a critical, like where I did something actually wrong, or I feel like maybe they have a legitimate reason to hate me or be upset or whatever the case. But it's like the people, like what you said, the people that just don't even deserve to have air to breathe. Like they literally have no point to go online except just to say the most absurd, ridiculous thing. Yeah. I enjoy taking away their platform because it's like they shouldn't have a voice at all. And if they make a comment on one of my posts, everyone that sees my post is going to read their comment, and that gives them a voice. So it's like in that regard, I like to take away their voice completely because they don't deserve to have one. You know what I mean? If they're going to be completely just douchebags about it.
Yeah. Well, like I said, most of my comments on my social media, I would say like really super 99.9% positive. So when I get a negative one, I don't want other people seeing all this negativity, especially when everybody's talking good about this individual or the comments, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, it does affect us. It does affect us. So if you're a superstar like those two are, and then they see all the negativity, it's got to affect them.
Yeah, of course.
I think so. It affects me, and I rarely ever get them.
Yeah. I got to ask you about this really fast, Hav, because he trained at AKA, and he's apparently lost his mind, and he's not to the level of the highest level guys in the sport or anything, but what is going on with Luis Pena? And I want to say this because I had him on the podcast, and I had him on the podcast because he trained at AK. I thought he was kind of an AK fighter, or at least he trained at AK. And you mentioned to me after the podcast, you said he's not the guy that I think. He's not as great of a guy as I think. And you had some words to say. So, like, you're not surprised, I suppose, by all the stuff that came out with the domestic abuse the other day. I just listened to the 911 call here a few minutes ago, and it was pretty rough.
Yeah, no, I'm not surprised. To me, he was fantastic, but you know what? Because I'm the head coach and I was the owner of the gym, and there was no issue between him and I, but there was issues between him and other people where he did people in, and there was things he did that actually I was going to ask him to leave the gym because of what he did to one of the fighters. And it wasn't cool what he did at all. So, if he has mental illness, then I hope he gets the help he needs. But I wasn't about to let what he did slide in my gym either. So he left on his own, but no one ever told me anything. When I found out some of the things he did with his other little partner, I actually would have asked him to leave my gym, to be honest with you. So he left on his own without me even knowing. He left on good terms with me, but he didn't leave on good terms with the other guys. He did some stuff he shouldn't have done. One of the things I do know he did is he didn't pay the coaches. He didn't pay any of the coaches. And he apologized for that. And I talked to him about that part, and he said he'd take care of it, but he never did. He never did. So he's a troubled guy. He's a troubled guy. And, he's a good enough guy, but he's got troubles. And if he's got mental illness, then I wish him the best. But, if he's putting his hands on women, dude, if you're sane, you get what you deserve. Yeah,
and I think there's drugs and alcohol involved in that as well. And, I don't think those coaches are going to get their money back now. So at least you can say you're not surprised by what has happened, because I didn't think you would be.
I'm not surprised based on the stuff I was told. And, he seems to be a mess all the time, even though, like I said, I've had great conversations with him. I've never had a bad one, but I did have talks with him about paying your coaches. Yeah, and you need to be responsible. They put in the time on you. You got to, and he agreed. He agreed, and he apologized, and he said he would take care of it. And that was it. That's all. That's the only negative thing I've ever had with him. Other than that, it's been nothing but positive. I liked him a lot, and I actually still like him. I don't really know what went on, but I heard he's got mental health issues. So that's the case. I can't judge him too much. But if he doesn't have mental health issues and he beat on his women like I heard, then you know what, he gets what he deserves. If you're sane and you go on and knowing what a dangerous fighter he is, and he goes and hurts a woman, or a girl or somebody that's an innocent. To me, it's an innocent.
Right.
Then he deserves what he gets. He deserves what he gets because you can't abuse that power you've been given.
No, I agree with you 100%. And yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's hard to judge people because there's always two sides of the story. So we'll see what happens and how it plays out. But it's not looking good. It's definitely not looking good. And I knew you wouldn't be surprised.
You're talking about this scenario too. Since you're talking about it, think about Chuck Liddell.
And that's another one. It's another one. Yeah.
You know?
Jesus Christ. How many
And
situations?
then, Chuck Liddell's talking about a mental health issue, same scenario, and talking about how he'll find out. You guys will find out at the end that he had the police arrest him instead of her, because one of them had to go, and he said, "Take me in," and he's the one with the bruises. So, who knows? I mean, so you just never know till both sides are out. But I do know what I did tell you with Luis, that there was an issue with the paying the coaches, and he apologized and he said he would take care of it, but he never did. That I do know. He never did. And there was something else he did do that I was going to ask him to leave the gym, but I never got to ask him because I didn't know about it, and he had already left the gym.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. And, I'll say this about Chuck, from knowing Chuck. It's like the thing is with Chuck is, he may be as guilty as can be and just changed and became a horrible person. Who knows? But, like, I'll say this. I don't want to, like, assume, because I don't know the story with his girl, and I don't want to, like, put her down or take sides or anything. But I will say, from what I know of Chuck, I would be very surprised if he decided to just start being a domestic abuser and doing this. I mean, I've seen Chuck do some wild stuff and be a crazy dude, but I've never seen him do something like that. So I have to say, when he says what he said, I do believe that that's a very big possibility. He was just trying to end the situation, and that he is not in that situation at fault as much as probably what everyone's thinking. Again, I hate judging, and I don't know the full story, but I've known Chuck for a long time, and he's never struck me as the kind of guy that would do something like that.
I would tend to go with what Chuck is saying. The little bit I do know of him, he seems to be a very straight shooter. And guys like that, straight shooters, don't F up anybody. He's never known to screw anybody. So I'm tending to believe what Chuck says. I really am. I mean, I like the guy. He's been nothing but respectful towards me since 20 years. He's a great guy, and still I consider him a great guy. So I'm going to say that what he said has happened. It's his wife that probably hit him, and police were called. And one of them, because when that happens, a domestic dispute, they have to take one out.
Right.
And
they have to
him
separate.
Saying, "Take me," that kind of sounds like something he would do.
It's a big thing to do, Yeah.
If that was me, to be honest with you, if that was me, and they were coming in, they got to take one in, I'd do the same thing.
Yeah, it's a big thing to do.
Take me. I would never allow them, because I'm the man,
Yeah.
and if the police were called and et cetera, but I'm the one with the bruises because for my wife, I would do the same thing he did. It's like, no, you're not taking her, take me. So I believe him.
Yeah, I do too, 100%. So speaking of Jake Paul, because you just mentioned that, he's fighting a real boxer now. I mean, he's fighting Tommy Fury, and Tommy Fury is 7-0, 4 knockouts. I mean, this is a legit boxer. You know that he has good boxing skills and potential because you've seen the videos. You know his management. You give me your take on this. What's going to happen? Because he's actually, for the first time in a while, even against fucking Tyron Woodley, he's actually coming out as an underdog in this fight against Tommy Fury. What are we going to see? Are we going to see him be able to last against a real boxer, especially of that caliber, 7-0 undefeated? Or are we going to see, like, what are we going to see? Are we going to be, just tell me what we're going to see in general, how it's going to go. Are we going to be impressed, or is he going to get exposed, or is he not ready for that level, or is he going to surprise everyone?
Well, I think, okay, if you really study boxing, you see with Tyron Woodley, Woodley would technically look better. He just wasn't active enough. Yeah. And that's kind of, to be honest with you, that's kind of one of the items that not the items, but one of the things that his coaches knew. They knew that he doesn't pull the trigger. He's just cautious, and
they counted on that.
He'd come out there and he got hit with a good left hook when he was going good. Then he stopped his action. So they knew that Woodley doesn't put enough pressure unless he's got a good opportunity. He'll wait. He'll wait. Tommy Fury. He's not going to wait. He's coming.
He's coming. Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Also, too, one of the biggest things that people don't understand, and you will understand because you fought and you know what it's like. That was the first time that Jake Paul has fought with that many people in attendance. Okay, now you're the main event and you're fighting a legit, Hall of Famer, who is still a badass.
Yeah.
In front of 18,000 people.
It's tough.
You know what you're going through, the nerves you're going through, and how things are going to be given out on you.
Can imagine.
Everything that poor guy went through, he went through, and nobody realizes that he was going through a hell of a lot, and he still prevailed.
Yep.
Because Woodley should have took him out.
Yep.
And he almost did. But he stopped because he got hit with that left hook. So Woodley stopped because he knew, okay, I don't want to get stupid and get knocked out, But what I'm saying is, the next time you see Jake Paul, he should be better because he's past the nerve stage. I know it happened to me. When my first fight to my last fight was like, wow.
Everybody, yeah.
You want to be in there. You learn to deal with the nerves. But, man, Jake Paul's been thrown in the limelight right away. He's been put in front of all the people in the head main event. The last time was not, to me, the same because the crowd wasn't there. This time the crowd was there. So I think I had a big impact on him. This is what I think. And I think he wasn't relaxed enough. And I think it cost him because he made a comment about his legs were gone. His legs were gone. And I said, oh, okay. I already knew what it was from. You said that, I already knew. He's never been exposed to that kind of pressure.
Right.
Like a lot of people, they think, it's just fighting is fighting. No, it's not. Tell somebody to go out there and sing or do public speaking in front of 18,000 people. See what happens to them. Shit their pants, piss all over themselves, can't even utter a word. It's crazy.
Have somebody put pressure on them while they do it, and then try and and jumble them up and everything. Yeah. That's 10 times worse.
Yeah, so
it's draining.
Woodley's already experienced that. He's experienced all that crowd. He's experienced that, so it didn't faze him at all.
Yeah,
but Jake
Good
Paul,
point.
That was his first foray into that kind of people main eventing, and now you have a legit badass against you. Because come on, man, Woodley's a badass.
Yeah,
and if they fought again, I don't know what would happen. Woodley might knock him out. Might not knock him out. I don't know. I just know Woodley didn't fight proper. He needed to do more of an output. But I also know Jake Paul lost his legs. And I know why he lost his legs because, he wasn't used to that. And I know he's going to be a lot better the next time out. And Tommy Fury, I don't think very much of him. I think he's okay. He's definitely not his brother. I think the brother might very well be the greatest heavyweight of all time.
His brother's crazy, yeah.
He's on track, but I don't know about his brother. I don't know if he's the same as Big Brother. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. You did hear Big Brother say if he loses to Jake Paul, he's going to take his name away from him. So that's how much he feels about, Jake Paul. They don't think Jake Paul's that good, but I think they'll be shocked that Jake Paul is fairly good. And this is more likely where he belongs, in the pro range, somebody that's a decent boxer, not great boxer. Tommy Fury, he's still learning the craft, He's still learning the craft. He's not a seasoned, veteran by any means, and he's not a champion by any means. And whether he's a champion or not, this fighting Jake Paul isn't going to prove he's on his road to being the champion. He still needs more experience. Yeah.
So what do you think is going to happen? Who's going to win this fight?
I can't go against Jake Paul because those are my buddies. So
you gotta go with Jake Paul.
I just that's what I do when I know somebody. I stick to my friends, even though they may not win. I'm going to go with Jake Paul.
Yeah,
but he may not win. But I'll go with Jake.
Well, you've been my friend, and you've never left my corner, no matter how bad I was losing. So I appreciate that as a fighter.
Yeah, I can't go against my friends, and Jacob Chavez and DJ Flores, they're my friends, and whoever it is. If Jake Paul fights him 100 times, and he's probably going to lose 100 times, I'm going to go with Jake Paul 100 times to win. Yeah, because those guys are my guys.
Well, I'll say you made a very interesting point. I think you can go back and look at the fight, and you can definitely say in the Tyron Woodley fight, Tyron should have won the fight, and Tyron could have won the fight, but Tyron didn't win the fight. I mean, that's just the way it is. It's one of those fights where we watched it, and he should have won the fight, but he didn't. And that's saying something good about Tyron, but it's also saying something bad about Tyron, more bad about Tyron than good, actually. But it's also saying something good about Jake because Jake won an unwinnable fight. Because when you say Tyron should have won the fight, that means he looked better, he was more experienced. He had every single attribute going into this fight, including the experience and the nerve handling and the crowd and everything to win the fight. But he didn't fucking win the fight. And he didn't win the fight, not by a crazy knockout or by a fluke or something. He legitimately didn't win the fight. And so that tells you that there's something, there's a lot of things with fighters that I'm sure that you can agree with me. There's a lot of things with fighters you can't describe that give them an advantage or a disadvantage in a fight. And I say that gives Jake Paul an advantage. The fact that he went out there and beat not an unbeatable, but I'm just saying a fight that even when you look at after the fight, he should have still lost the fight. You know, it's not like you watch it afterwards and you're like, wow, he destroyed him, you know?
Jake Paul should have lost that fight. You're correct. You're correct. Jake Paul should have lost that fight. Should have lost that fight.
But he didn't.
Because Woodley, with all his experience and his abilities, should have went out there and took care of business, and he didn't. And it was because, I'm telling you, his corner, because I was in on it. They told me everything, and we talked about it, and they knew. They studied every scenario, and they studied the fact that he doesn't pull the trigger, you know, and they probably put that in Jake's head, you know, come back at this guy. He hits you with something, get going, come back, because you know you can't. Because I've seen Woodley fight so many times. When he's on the money, you can't stop him.
Yeah, he's a
beast. But you got to stop him before he gets on the money. You know, once he's on the money, he's an unstoppable machine. He really is. He really is. But once you put a hesitation, like there's a potential danger, he kind of holds off.
Yeah.
And that's what I had that conversation with those guys that he does do that. You know, and sure enough, that's what he did. You know, and again, if they fought again. Which I think if they did fight again, I think there would be interest, you know. Who knows what will happen? But you'll definitely see a better version of both, you know. You'll definitely see Tyron come in a lot more aggressive, you know, but also you're going to see Jake Paul up another level. Now the nerves are going to be gone, and dealing with that amount of people there and dealing with someone of his level, because that was the first time he actually fought, let's face it, he actually fought a real fighter.
Yeah,
this is his first fight against a
real striker. Yeah,
you know, Woodley,
or at least a guy who trains the striking.
I was impressed. Yeah. I was impressed with the way he looked. He just didn't do enough output.
Yep, no, I agree. And it looks like we got through the podcast. So here's what's going to happen, Hav. So you're probably going to look like a South Park character, and what we're going to do is we're just going to have your mouth, and we're just going to move it up and down the whole time because your video wasn't so clear, but your audio was clear. We're going to blame it on Dubai, I guess.
Well, let's not do Skype in Dubai anymore. It doesn't appear to work.
How did it work every other time we've done it? I did it with every single guy. All the Russian guys, or all the Russian-speaking guys, all the team, the Eagles guys, you multiple times. How did we do it every other time? I don't understand.
I don't know.
All right, I'm about to get a new computer. I think that's what it is. I'm just gonna blame it on the computer.
Blame the computer.
All right, Hav. Well, thanks for doing the podcast. I appreciate it. Sorry that it didn't come out perfect, but I think it came out great, and we had a great conversation. The audio was crystal clear. That most people listen anyway. They're not sitting there staring at our mouths, so I don't think it's gonna matter. And good luck with Islam, Zuba, and Tagir. And hope everything's working out. I'll stay in touch with you, and we'll catch up again right before the fight or right after the fight, and talk about break it down a little bit. Talk about what happened good, what went right, what went according to plan, what didn't go according to plan, and everything else.
Got it. Done.
All right, Hav. You take care. Have a good day, and I will talk to you soon.
Okay, man. Bye.